At $654.39 trillion is set to enter XRP, Forbes has reported that XRP will hit over $60,000 in weeks. As bullish sentiment in the cryptocurrency space begins to rise, like take a look at this. Jim Cramer himself has literally posted that you need to buy cryptos, you need to accumulate as much as you can, and this was only a couple hours ago. But this is coinciding perfectly with what we're about to report, which is Ripple's own CEO, guys, the founder of XRP, has literally stated that XRP is the next Bitcoin. Think about that, because it is very important. We're talking about facilitating hundreds of billions of dollars in daily transaction volume and over $650 trillion at the bare minimum in yearly transaction volume. And again, this is huge because when you have the founders of XRP and XRP's own CEO come out and say XRP will be the next Bitcoin, I mean, he's talking about it in market cap, transactions, and in price. And of course, XRP's current price sits at about $3, or a bit down today, $2.90. But Bitcoin sits at about $114,000. So when we're talking about XRP replacing Bitcoin, we obviously understand that there's going to be massive supply shock because the total market cap of Bitcoin is 2.27 trillion and the market cap of XRP is only 172 billion, meaning we're looking at like a 20x at the bare minimum, meaning XRP is about to be priced at over $50 at least. This is what Ripple's own CEO emphasized. But remember this, he's never going to give you the real price of XRP. In fact, the real price was already provided to us by the founder of XRP, co-founder in fact. His name is Arthur Bridger. You guys have probably heard about him, but Arthur Bridger actually said that XRP is designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. And guys, Ripple CEO has been hinting at it a lot of times, right? He can't say it because it's a risk, but he's been hinting at it. XRP being the next Bitcoin and Forbes reporting at $60,000. I mean, it coincides perfectly. But let's take a quick second here before we jump into the facts. And there's so much that we need to get into. $650 trillion, where did that number come from? Well, we're about to tell you. But before we do that, guys, we partnered with Liable to give every single person watching today's video up to $100. It's literally free money, guys. You're getting some free XRP. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel with your post notifications, share this video, and most importantly, make sure you sign up and upload using my link in the description and do a transaction. That's basically it. You're going to get up to $100 worth of free money. So let's get into the video. So institutions have officially decided that they want to jump on with the XRP ledger and facilitate billions of dollars in transactions every single day using the XRP ledger and using XRP technology. One of these being Bank of America. And they took it to another level because their CEO went live, the Bank of America CEO, on Fox News and was asked, are you facilitating transactions using XRP? And his response was shocking. He said, we facilitate 100% of our internal transactions using XRP. Again, you got to keep the word internal very important here because Bank of America does trillions of dollars in transactions. To say internal, meaning it's only a small portion as of now that they're facilitating with. And obviously what we've seen is that from that happening, from the time they started using, again, their internal transactions, the price of XRP went from 50 cents to $3. Now this is insane, but you gotta remember that very much soon we're gonna see Bank of America switching to use all their transactions, not internal, but all internal and external transactions, which are trillions of dollars. But even take that on the side for a second, forget about Bank of America. Institutions have begun shifting towards the XRP ledger, and they've decided that they want to use the XRP ledger to transact. Now, one of these institutions is not just Bank of America, but actually BlackRock and JP Morgan, which have been caught on multiple occasions, numerous in fact, quietly accumulating XRP, guys. This is insane because this has been something that BlackRock and JP Morgan have been trying to hide. And I had to dig it up from a report that came out on October 18, 2023, which basically highlighted that BlackRock and JP Morgan were actually quietly accumulating XRP in secret wallets, while at the same time trying to act like they had nothing to do with XRP and that they were shunning XRP to the side, specifically during the time where the Ripple SEC lawsuit was still taking place. I mean, you probably all understand this if you've been in the crypto space for a while. XRP was being sued, and so Bank of America and JP Morgan were quiet, they didn't take sides, and they just started accumulating XRP. And obviously that was a crazy good sign for anybody that actually had seen this report because, guys, this is very important. Take a look at the actual portfolio of JP Morgan. This is huge. JP Morgan actually, this is back in 2016. Imagine that, 2016, even before the Ripple SEC lawsuit. JP Morgan was buying XRP in large amounts. Take a look at this, for example. It says JP Morgan Manstrat XRP 7.5% of their fund, meaning that BlackRock and JP Morgan had seen the potential of XRP even back then, but we're starting to see a massive shift. The mass scale adoption of XRP and the integration into the financial infrastructure, even under the current administration. For example, here's Eric Trump, the son of Donald Trump, the president of the United States, announcing that cryptos like XRP will replace or, in fact, partner with banking giants like JP Morgan Chase and BlackRock. He also talks about a multi-trillion-dollar market that is going to be unlocked onto the XRP ledger, and that XRP is going to dominate. But he doesn't say directly, rather he hints directly at it. And again, we gotta understand the circumstance and the time that we're at. I mean, right now the Ripple SEC lawsuit is over. The green light from the United States has been issued to XRP and Ripple, where now officially the green light for banks and institutions to adopt and use XRP for payments is approved. And so these institutions are really running towards the XRP ledger because a lot of the big giants that do switch towards it are now paying cheaper costs, they're transactioning a lot quicker, and they're just more competitive. It only makes sense that you go to the best option, and right now it is XRP, the XRP ledger, and Ripple Labs. And in the process of these massive institutions adopting XRP, trillions of dollars are actually about to flow into the XRP ledger because one institution known as RealFi has actually stepped up, and they're actually trying to dominate the entire real estate sector, unlocking $654.39 trillion in real estate market value onto the XRP ledger. And it's all happening through their Real token, which is built on the XRP ledger, and RealFi, the institution, is actually facilitating and using that Real token. Now it sounds insane, but this thing is extremely bullish. Guys, I gotta tell you about RealFi and the Real token because this is a project that I've been paying very close attention to. It's utility-based, innovative, is dealing with real-world assets, and best of all, is built directly on the XRP ledger, the ledger that we all love and that is gonna make multi-millionaires very, very soon. Now, take a look at this, guys. This is the Real token, and of course, it's being used as the native token for the RealFi ecosystem, a real estate platform, and an institution that actually allows you to buy and sell real estate directly using and on the XRP ledger. And you can buy properties worth millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars directly using them and earn money in the process. And all this is transacting using the Real token, a token that is very, very strong support, very low resistance. It's still very early, but it skyrocketed from 1/100 of a penny to over 3 cents, meaning it's went over 10,000x, and it's only just started because if you think about it, this thing is not even listed on centralized exchanges, it's only on DEX, and it's on the XRP ledger. And even with that, not many people know about it because again, it's still very early, only a few months old, but this thing is massive, and it's about to make multi-millionaires almost instantaneously due to the very low supply of only phase 1 supply, 22 million tokens. Remember, this thing started with a phase 1 supply of 100 million. They've already burned a ton, I think 88 million or 78 million tokens got burned. Now there's only 22 million phase 1 supply, meaning if only 1% of the $654 trillion enters the XRP ledger into Real token, we're talking about the price of Real token going from 3 cents, this is insane, 3 cents to over $60,000. And this is the bare minimum price. But even forget about 1%, not even 1%, if just 0.01% enters in, you're looking at $6,500 per Real token from 3 cents, meaning every $10,000 invested into Real token would make you a multi-millionaire. But again, I want to emphasize, I'm not a financial advisor, it's not financial advice, and always do your own research. And this doesn't mean I recommend you invest into Real token or even XRP. In fact, I don't recommend anything. I'm telling you guys all the information, and I want you guys to dedicate your time to do your research and then make your own decision. And so just take this with a grain of salt. Again, the cryptocurrency space is very, very risky, and this is just how it is. But this is a project that I personally think is definitely one that needs to be looked into. I mean, this thing is huge, real world assets, innovative, it's built on the XRP ledger. There's rumors that RealFi, the institution that uses it, RealFi, this is RealFi, they use the Real token and they make it clear that they do use it, but Real token, RealFi is basically rumored to be partnering with Ripple Labs. Now, this is huge because again, you can see how very critical this spot is, a $600 trillion market being facilitated by RealFi, which uses the Real token technology and Real token in and of itself, and these guys partnering with Ripple Labs. I mean, that's a big, big deal. In fact, just recently, the RealFi institution announced that the real asset, you can now buy real world assets in 50 plus locations using Real token, which is built on the XRP ledger. And the value that they brought onto the XRP ledger, over $2 billion worth of real estate, 10,000 plus properties. And again, now you can actually buy these properties using Real token, XRP, and all the transactions occur on the XRP ledger directly. Again, a massive market that is about to enter through the XRP ledger via Real token. And this is only the start because they do emphasize this in their recent post that basically they're about to conclude phase 1 and begin phase 2 of the RealFi ecosystem, which is focused on globalized adoption and integration of our technology, which is the Real token technology centered around the Real token. Now let's take a look at the Real token. In fact, this thing has received a massively great score. I mean, 10 out of 10, this is insane, because only XRP and a few other of the top cryptocurrencies like XLM actually received this. So a 100% BNX score, top yield, there's low risk, KYC score, low risk, and this thing, guys, is expanding every single day. Just yesterday, we were looking at them sitting at 3,200. Just today, they grew about 70 wallets, which is huge. It means, guys, there is not much eye towards real token. In fact, again, you can clearly see the institution uses them, but it's rising in value, and people are starting to notice that this thing is massive because it's actually facilitating real money. It's facilitating transactions every single day. And again, this is without it being listed on centralized exchanges, meaning nobody really sees it. But imagine once this thing does get listed, imagine once it gets put on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, attention will see it, and eventually it will skyrocket because all the utility coins that facilitate even, close to it, because again, real token is going to overtake, I think, the entire real world asset market, but it's also on the XRP ledger. But every real world asset token that is launched is doing hundreds of thousands or millions in transaction volume. Again, almost every single one that I've seen, at least, that is listed on centralized exchanges. Imagine this project, once it gets listed, imagine what it will be. And this guy, real token has a substantially lower supply, so 22 million is nothing phase one supply. I think they have a max supply of 1 billion, but their phase one supply is 22 million, which is nothing. I mean, this thing will break out into the hundreds, if not thousands of dollars with just $100,000 in daily transaction volume. In my opinion, this is huge. I think I'm bullish. I can say I'm freaking bullish, and I'm packing my stuff back. So guys, I'm gonna end off the video here, but I want to tell you guys again, I'm not financial advisor, not financial advice, I was doing research, and I'm talking to you guys about projects on the XRP ledger and XRP because I think I'm very bullish on XRP right now. I think the XRP ledger is huge. I think XRP is huge, and I think there's going to be generational wealth that is going to be made through this technology. So with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I'll see you next time, and peace.